Hi everyone, it's me, Spring, the fiber enthusiast, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do a crocheted cowl tutorial, and we're going to put up in the corner the link, the little card link to the stitch tutorial that I'm using for this cowl. Now, I recently did this stitch tutorial, absolutely loved it, and wanted to turn it into something that was some type of wearable. And I decided to go with a cowl. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to work that up today. This was done in a 4-weight, and it was done with an I Love This yarn. Now I'm going to use the same exact stitch count and everything, except I'm going to be using this yarn instead of the worsted weight. I'm going to be using a DK, double knitting weight. It's 75% acrylic and 25% wool. And this particular one was made in Turkey, and it says it's got 150 yards. And let's see, machine washable and dryable up to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about all the information on here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to do a chain first and connect the chain in the round. Okay, so the very first thing you're going to do is do a chain of 83. You'll also need the size hook that is recommended for the weight of yarn that you're using. As I said, I did the original with a worsted weight, and I'm doing the exact same chain number in the DK. You will have 41 of these little clusters that are made, and let's see if I can get you a reference here. This is 12 inches wide without stretching it, and 7 inches tall. Now, the height that you do it is up to you if you want to continue making rows to make it taller before you do the repeat edging. Perfectly okay, whatever you choose to do. So for my DK, I'm actually using a 5mm crochet hook, and you'll need a darning needle to sew in your ends and a pair of scissors. So I'm going to get this somewhat out of the way here, and we're going to begin, as I said, with a chain of 83, and we will be connecting in the round. Go ahead and do your chain of 83. Okay, so once you have your chain of 83, you're going to make sure that you don't twist your chain by running your hand down the side like this. And make sure that you don't twist it and join at the end, just like such. Then you'll yarn over and pull through both, just like that. All right, so now we are connected in the round, and we will start our first round. Okay, for round 1, you're going to chain 1, 2, and 3. And now I will be working into the spine or the bumps on the back of the chain. Get it turned right here. And you're going to place 1 double crochet in every chain all the way around. I like to work into the bumps of it, the back of the chain, so that way it gives a nice clean finish on the edge. It actually is nice and neat, and you have all these V's. You don't have just strands, and it looks the same as the finished edge. So here we have both edges. That's why I work into the back bumps or the spine. It gives it also just a hair more give. All right, so go ahead and work all the way around, placing 1 double crochet into every single chain all the way around. And when we get back to the beginning, I'll meet up with you and show you what to do next. Okay, so once you have a 1 double crochet in every stitch all the way around, you should have a total of 83. We're going to slip stitch to the top of your very first chain 3. So slip stitch to the top and pull that through. And generally, I would create a front post with this particular stitch because we're going to do relief stitches for the next round. But because we have an odd number, it's not going to work out right. So I'm going to use that as my chain 3 and do it as a regular chain 3. I'm not going to front post or back post that stitch. So we have 1, 2, 3 chains, and now we're going to create a front post double crochet on the next stitch. The following stitch will be a back post double crochet, and the front post double crochet on the next one. That is your repeat all the way around. Front post, back post, front post, back post. Just like that. And you're going to continue to work all the way around. When you get to the end, you're going to slip stitch to the top of your chain 3 to complete your round. This is round 2. Okay, so once you made it to the end, your last stitch should be a back post double crochet. We're going to slip stitch to the very top of your chain 3. Now we're going to begin this center section here, and that is the stitch that I did the stitch tutorial on. So now we're going to chain 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to go into the next chain down, so into the center chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook. You're going to go into the next chain, yarn over and pull up a loop. Now we're going to go into the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Pulling up a loop in each of those stitches. So now we have a total of 6 loops on our hook. Yarn over, go through all 6 loops and chain 1. Now here's where the stitch repeat begins. Insert your hook into that chain 1 space, yarn over and pull up a loop. You're going to go into the last loop of the previous grouping of loops. Go into that last loop, yarn over and pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook. You're going to go into the same stitch right here that your last grouping was made. You're going to go into that stitch and pull up a loop. 4 loops on your hook. You're going to go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 5 loops on your hook. Go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 6 loops on your hook. And repeat, yarn over, go through all 6 loops on your hook and chain 1. That is your repeat all the way around. So once again, into the chain 1, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the last loop from the previous stitch, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, into the stitch where your last stitch was made, yarn over and pull up a loop through there. And then do the same into each of the next 2 stitches. That will give you 6 loops on your hook. There's 3 and 6. Yarn over, go through all 6 and chain 1. You're going to continue to work that repeat all the way around into the chain 1, into the loop, into the last stitch, and into the next 2 stitches. Yarn over, go through all 6 and chain 1. Continue to repeat that all the way around, and when you get to the end, I will meet back up with you. Okay, so I'm coming to the end of round 3, and I'm working up my last little cluster stitch here. And when you come to the end of this round 3, you will have a total of 41 of these little cluster stitches. So there's 3, yarn over, pull through all 6, chain 1. Now to connect in the round, we're going to be slip stitching to the top loops of our very first stitch here. So there's 2 loops on my hook from that stitch. I'm not just grabbing 1, I'm grabbing 2 of them. Yarn over, pull through and through to join. Now you're going to chain 1 and single crochet back into that same stitch. And then we're going to go over to our chain 1 space, which creates this little eye. And we're going to single crochet into that. Now again, we're going to go to the group of loops here, and we're going to go into the top set of loops and single crochet to it, and then into the eye. That is your repeat for round 4. Continue working single crochets all the way around, 1 in the little chain 1 eye, and 1 in to those top loops. When you have reached the end of this round, you will have 83 single crochets when you finish at the end. Here I am at the very end, and I'm going to go right into where we connected to create the 83rd single crochet. So I have into the chain 1, which gave us the eye, and then I'm going to go into that space in between where we slip stitch to create my 83 stitches once again, and then I'm going to slip stitch to the top of the very first single crochet. Okay, now we are going to do those same 2 rows, but there is a slight change on the very first of the 2 row repeat. The change is we're going to chain 1, 2, 3 as we did to begin with. You're going to insert your hook into the second chain from your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook. Into the third chain from your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook. You're going to go into the next 3 stitches, pulling up 1 loop in each stitch to give you a total of 6 loops. That's your normal stitch pattern. However, this is the change. The change is you're going to go into the back loop only. So back loop. For those 3 stitches. Now yarn over, go through all 6 and chain 1. We're going to do this again together. You're going to insert your hook back into that chain 1 space, yarn over, pull up a loop. You're going to go into the last loop made, yarn over, pull up a loop. You're going to go into the next stitch, which is a back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop. And then again into the next 2 stitches, insert your hook into that back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, again, back loop, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, and go through all 6 loops that were on your hook and chain 1. What that's going to do is it's going to give you this line in between these cluster stitches that we're making. So that's the only difference between the last 2 rows and this row. And you're going to do that every time you come around. So every other row, every time you have one of these rows that has these sideways cluster stitches, we're going to do back loop only. And then you single crochet your next round exactly like we did our previous round. So we'll do this one more time together, and then I will finish working this round. I will come back and show you the very next round one more time. And that will be your complete repeat of 2 rounds, this round and the next round. So there's 3, 4, and we're in back loop only, 5, and 6 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and go through all 6 and chain 1. Insert my hook into that chain 1, pull up a loop, into the loops, pull up a loop, into that stitch, pull up a loop, into the next back loop only stitch, next back loop only stitch, yarn over and pull through all 6, chain 1. Continue working that same thing all the way around. When you get to the end, you should still have 41 of these cluster, sideways cluster type stitches. I'll meet up with you on the last one. We'll join together and do the next round, round 2, 3, 4, 5, round 6. We'll do round 6 together, and that will be your complete repeat. Okay, so once we've reached the end of the round, we're going to slip stitch to the very top loops of the very first cluster of loops, the very first stitch. So here we are. We're going to slip stitch to that. And then we're going to chain 1 and single crochet. So here is your row 2 repeat. You're just going to single crochet your way around. The same as we did down here. You're going to work into those top loops, single crochet, and into the chain 1 little eye. Again, top loops, and into that chain 1 eye. The only difference between the very first row of clusters and your repeating row is we go into the back loops, giving us that design element in there of the line created by only using the back loop. We leave the front loop exposed to create that line. So you will continue working all the way around with single crochets. You will have 83 when you come to the end by adding that 1 right here. And then you'll work your cluster stitches back loop only row. Now this is up to you how many rounds of that 2 round repeat you would like to complete. So here I have the very first one and the very first row of single crochets. And so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total complete repeats. And you'll finish that up by single crocheting, you know, your single crochet round. And then you just repeat the double crochet round, and then the front post, back post, double crochet round. just like you did here. So the big thing is you're gonna make sure that you have 41 of these groups of clusters all the way around. Then you're gonna have your single crochet round. Make sure you have 83 single crochets. Then you start with your cluster round again, and you're working in the back loop only. Again, you will have 41 of those clusters. So you just continue working that repeat for as tall as you would like for your center part of your cowl, and then you repeat your double crochet and relief stitch row. So you have the same 2-row repeat ribbing on the top as you did the bottom, the start. So that is it for this crochet cowl pattern. It is simple 2-row repeat once you get past, you know, your beginning, and then you just go with it for the height that you like. If you have any issues with the pattern, please comment down below and I will do my best to help you out. Pretty simple. If you want to use this stitch pattern for something else, you're welcome to do so. It isn't my stitch pattern. It's one that I seen and I wanted to teach you. And then I wanted to use it in something. So this is what we did. I will do my best to remember to link it at the end of this video as well for the tutorial on this stitch pattern. So if you want to do something else, you can do so. All right, everyone, be blessed, be a blessing, and until next time, bye for now.